Hello and welcome to the Refs Need Love To podcast, a show that gets real, raw, and behind the scenes, the hardest job on the pitch. I'm your host, David Gerson, a referee and certified mentor with over 10 years of experience and 1,200 matches on the pitch. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and at refsneedlove2.com. Today, we're going to briefly discuss the Copa America versus the Euros, some book reviews, and then we're going to hit the mailbag. Okay, the Copa America. I'm still not over this, as you can tell. The U.S. did not lose the matches that they lost because of the referee at either the Panama or the Uruguay match. You will never hear me chant, "Ref, you suck," at a match. Not going to happen. Because I totally understand the fact that refs make mistakes and whining about calls doesn't help anyone. Players need to play the game in front of them, and that might mean playing South American football, which is very different from the MLS or European football for that matter, is a totally different world with a different seeming set of laws or match control scenarios. It's very different, and that's true. Players need to play the game in front of them, and fans need to support their team. Coaches need to support their team. Attacking the ref, even at a professional level, only hurts the player's concentration and their emotional state. They need to be thinking about getting in defensive shape if a foul is called against them. And if they don't get a call, then keep your head up and look for maybe a quick free kick like Uruguay. Play the game. I've been very involved in this Copa America, watching many matches, and Jacob and I got to go to two Copa America matches here in Atlanta. Argentina versus Canada for the opening match, and then USA versus Canada. Both matches, we actually wore our full referee kit to the match, our yellows, our black shorts, socks, you name it, black shoes, and had an unbelievable time. We brought signs, the refs need love too, and no referee, no party, and people loved it. As soon as we were walking up, man, I literally getting out of the car, people were already stopping us from pictures. I swear, we spent about an hour and a half at that Argentina match taking pictures with everyone. There were literally people lining up to take pictures with us, talking to us, hugging us. We got interviewed by at least 7 different media outlets just that night alone. It was wild. So much fun. We got on the Jumbotron both nights. We had people seeking us out in the stadium. Other referees from different parts of the stadium came to our seats to take pictures with us and say hi. It was really, really cool. But I will tell you, at the end of the Panama match, I was literally thinking maybe we should take our jerseys off, because the environment around the stadium was really toxic. People were really upset with the outcome of the match. And I was wondering, am I putting my son's 19? It's not like he's a baby, but he is my son. Should we take our jerseys off for safety concerns? And I'm like, no. Being a ref is hard, but I'm proud to be a referee. It's a job that few people have the courage and willingness to do. And I know I'm not perfect as a ref, but I still deserve respect. And just like the referees on the pitch, they might not be perfect in a match, and we might not agree with every single call they make, but love me or hate me, you still need to respect me for doing the job. Without the ref, there is no game. And as we walked out of the stadium, maybe we didn't get as much love, but we didn't have any negative experiences. No one was cursing at us or anything like that. People still had smiles on their faces when they talked to us. It was all good. Now for the matches themselves. The U.S. did not lose because of the referee. The red card from Tim Weah in the Panama match absolutely had a major effect. And you get a red card 20 minutes into a match, man, it's going to make it hard for you to score and for you to win. And amazingly, the U.S. did score down a player, but then quickly gave up a goal and really went into a turtle and was playing for a draw. And I tell you, you give a team, any team at an international level, that much time on the edge of your penalty area, just passing it around, eventually you're going to find an opening. And that's exactly what happened about 10 minutes in time. And then the U.S. threw in a bunch of attacking players, had a bunch of opportunities to score. By that point, it was really too late. Were there mistakes made by the referee in both matches? Yeah, it's normal. Referees always make mistakes, including me again. Are they necessarily going to be on key match decisions? Yeah, that can be painful if it does happen, but it happens everywhere around the world. One thing I will just say about specifically Copa America is that CONCACAF is not refereed like the MLS. CONCACAF or CONMEBOL is not refereed like the Euros. I would encourage everyone to watch some Boca Juniors or some River matches, Fluminense, watch some Brazilian and South American football, and that is exactly what it is. It's what you're seeing at the Copa America. A lot of acting, a lot of drama, a very physical, rough game. That's what's happening right now. We are being reffed by the South American body that oversees those matches in South America. And that is what the games are. And we're playing South American teams in this competition. And that is what is happening. To expect that it's going to be like the MLS or be refereed like the Euros is crazy talk. And we, as a confederation, and I'm talking we as the USA, as I wear my USA scarf here, need to understand that. And we have such a hard time through qualifying playing these teams in Central America on these pitches that may not be pristine. We're playing on American football fields, so the field is narrow. It is a turf field with grass being laid over it only a few days or a week in advance. It makes it hard to play wide, expansive, possession-based football, which is exactly what Greg Berhalter is trying to have our team play. It is a recipe for disaster. We continually cough the ball up in dangerous situations or lack the ability to progress the ball in any meaningful fashion or dangerous area. And I love Matt Turner. I am a goalkeeper. I'm in the goalkeeper union. But he was woeful in the Uruguay match. 3 or 4 turnovers directly from either a goal kick or a ball that was played back to him. Maybe it was the injury in the Panama match was the culprit, but the coaching staff needs to recognize that. Make a change. And as a referee, man, I got to tell you, it is so hard to watch the refs from Central and South America in these games, specifically with an American team, because again, we're used to a different type of football. They're used to a different type of football. But the ref almost seems more of an adversarial figure rather than a facilitator of the match. They allow so much dissent and even participate in argument. It is so foreign to me to see a referee yell back at a player. This is not the days of Pierluigi Collina, who, by the way, had respect of pretty much everyone out there. When you yell back at a player or be completely dismissive, it only inflames tensions, and then they wind up becoming the focal point. I feel like every single Copa match I've been watching, everyone is talking consistently about the referee. That is not good for referees in general. It does not help, man. All I'm seeing is tensions building and emotions spiking. It is painful to watch. It's just, I don't know, in the Uruguay and the Panama game, as a referee, there seemed so many opportunities to early on in the match set a tone, settle things down, allow for a free-flowing, more open match by calling certain fouls early or having early conversations or an early yellow card and discipline if need be. But it just devolves into a brawl with very little soccer being played. And in normal matches in the Premier League, you might expect 70 minutes of active play going on. But man, in these matches, it seemed like there was maybe 55 minutes of active play. And that the stoppage time was a third of what it probably should have been for these matches. I just don't think it's enjoyable to watch. I hate the posturing. I hate the dissent. I hate the lack of beautiful football. I thirst for the Euros. Like, I'm so sad. In some ways, I got to work during the day and I can't watch these amazing games that have been going on. But my gosh, I am so excited to watch like the Spain-Germany match on Friday that's coming up. It's tomorrow if you're listening to this podcast another time. It is going to be a thing of beauty. The way the game, in my eyes, is supposed to be played. I love it. As a referee, I feel like I referee more in Europe. People may think that I call too many fouls, but I've learned over time that 99% of the time, people love seeing soccer being played. The only people who don't like that are less skilled teams who would rather be in a fight or a death match than actually play soccer. Yes, people appreciate some physicality, and it's got to be fair, but I think people like seeing players dribble the ball. They want to see open play with opportunities to score. They want to see attacking players play without being injured or hacked down over and over again. That's what I think people want to see. And over time, I have found that's what works if you want to have good match control and for people to feel it's an overall positive experience out there. I just want to talk real briefly in a couple of these match situations from the Uruguay match in particular. The infamous foul on Chris Richards, and then a yellow card, and then as he's pulling out that yellow card, then there's a quick free kick and an advantage going on. You can call the foul and blow a whistle, and then we can, even if you need to show a caution, you could still allow a quick free kick to allow a promising attack to occur, okay? But once we pull out that yellow card, we're saying to the defending team, the team who's made the foul, hey, stop. I need to have a conversation with you. I need to show you this card and let you know that you've done something really wrong. And if you do something like that again, you're going to be out of the game. Essentially, that's what a yellow card is. It's caution. It's a warning, right? But you've stopped and you've taken everyone's attention on you. To do that and take everyone's attention on you, to award that caution, and at the same time, allow a team to take a quick free kick while you're talking to those defenders is against the laws of the game. It's written in the laws of the game that once you begin that caution, you've got to complete that action of that discipline, and then we need to have a ceremonial restart, okay, where there's a proper whistle to allow that restart to take place because we've stopped the game as the referee. He certainly could have called the foul, recognized that there was a quick free kick opportunity and allowed that quick free kick to happen and then awarded the yellow card at the next stoppage of play. Totally could have done that, but he didn't. He had a massive brain fart and somehow missed this, applied the laws of the game this opportunity. And that is probably one of those glaring examples of, I'd say, inexperience. It's a young referee. Again, I don't know. I don't watch any Peruvian football where this guy is from, but man, I guarantee after the match, his assessors and his mentors had a long talk with him. The offside for a goal. Okay. I have no idea if it was offside or not. Guys, seriously, you look at so many different angles and it looks like he's on, it looks like he's off. Listen, the camera angle that they chose and the line that they draw is what it is. I'm sure they calibrated before the match. That's the decision they made. It's over. It's done. I just want to say the stopping promising attack fouls that were never called as a stopping a promising attack, those drive me nuts because, again, it kills football. It kills the game. When you've got these wingers going down the side of the pitch and they are going to be through into the penalty area and creating these attacking scoring opportunities, when you have someone hack them down or drag them down from behind in a cynical challenge, that is a yellow card offense. It is, whether it's a reckless challenge when you're horse collaring them from behind or you're chopping them down, whatnot, as they're just about to be in on goal with options to pass to other players. It is a yellow card offense. Pull the card. It will be a better game because of it. I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, those calls in Europe at the Euros right now would absolutely be a yellow card. As for why they're not a yellow card in the Copa America, I cannot tell you. The no handshake by the center referee at the end of the match. Listen, I have no idea what Christian Pulisic said to that ref as he was walking on over. A lot of people are saying he told the referee to go celebrate with the Uruguay team. I've also had people say he was actually just encouraging the refs to come towards the middle of the field where everyone was standing so that people could shake the referee's hands. Okay, again, it could have been the other side of this. Hey, why don't you go celebrate with those people? But even that, okay, I've had people walking up to me at the end of the match saying, oh, you completely blew that call. I'm still going to stand there and say, hey, I appreciate your feedback. Good game. And that's it. I'm going to be the bigger man every single time because that's who I am as a person. The profile of the referee is someone who is not going to be goaded into, being disrespectful back. They are bigger than that. They have to be resilient in the face of those types of petty little comments. I am still going to be the bigger man, and I am still going to shake someone's hand. It's just who I am. I think it's a horrible look for referees. We're held to a higher standard. And if that referee thinks he's beyond reproach and perfect, he is kidding himself. All right. I've got a few fun things here, okay? Book reviews. So there are a couple actual books out there, referees. I think it was timely. Mark Klatenberg is the Euros analyst, so I'm going to do a little breakdown of his book. But there's actually a book out there called The Social Ref. And this is written by a referee. I think he lives out in Oregon. And he does a ton of rec league type of refereeing. I think he was a league administrator. He did kickball and flag football and soccer, and that's his passion. And he wrote a book called The Social Ref, and I think there are a bunch of like good little takeaways out of there. And I'm going to do a little review on the Mark Klatenberg book, and we'll hit the mailbag. All right, The Social Ref. I love this line. It's not the calls, it's your communication. It's not the calls, it's your communication. Again, I feel that as I get older, that is such the biggest differentiator between a new referee and an experienced referee is their ability to communicate, whether it's, again, their body language, their mechanics, their voice, but communicating the calls, the position on the field. I mean, all those things are a form of communication, but man, your communication matters in how you can sell a call and maintain match control. I will also say, and this is really important, I love this line he gives. It says, climb down off the pedestal, meet the players where they are. No one came to watch you ref. That is so true. Listen, although I try at times within a match to be the central figure when they need me, when a call needs to be made, the rest of the time I'm anonymous. I posted a video a couple weeks ago with some of my mic'd up comments from a match, whatnot. And yeah, there's a couple little lines I might say and some dialogue with players, but in a 90-minute match, I'm silent for probably 80 minutes of that match, if not more. I only speak and get involved when I need to speak and get involved. Again, it's not about me, but when the game needs me, I step up and I communicate really clearly. I love this line. If you have to say you are in charge, you aren't in charge. You're just acting like a jerk. Now, those are his words, not mine, but it's true. Are players questioning you, or are they asking a question? This is a really big one. Are players questioning you, or are players asking a question? It is so important you know the difference, because someone could ask a question genuinely, like, how is that foul? Okay, like being upset about something. And sometimes legitimately, they really want to know, how is that a foul? Like, what did you see on that play? And then you can give a pretty simple answer. It's like, I saw a player tripping from behind. He caught his foot. He's going for the ball, but it was a trip. And it's over, and we move on. There's a difference between that and, do you even know what you're doing? How are you even qualified to be out there? Whatever. That's questioning you, okay? And that's dissent. But sometimes people ask a question, and they genuinely want to know the answer because they see it completely differently. And having a calm, composed response to that is very helpful. These are like summary things from the book. It's like, there are 3 versions of every game. The first game that the home team and their fans see. The second game that the away team and their fans see. So they see 2 completely different things. And then the third game that you ref and you need to see to do your job. And I think that's so important, that there's a completely different sense of reality for the home team, for the away team, for each of their fans, whatnot. And then there's a game that you see. And recognizing that everyone's going to have a different perspective, and that's okay. And not get upset because people have a different perspective. This one's a good one. If you're watching the ball fly through the air, you are normally watching the wrong thing. That's You don't need to watch the ball go through the air, especially on corner kicks. Now pay attention to where that ball is going to land in the drop zone and see what's going on there. Very important. You need to trigger decisions with your feet. And when you first start, you won't need more knowledge. You will need more movement. Being in the right position to not only see the call, but then have credibility to make the call is so important. Being able to trigger decisions with your feet. You need to learn and know the rules, and then you need to move past the law book. So we'll call them laws here. Not knowing the laws is a foundation, and then you need to understand how to apply it, and different scenarios and situations and nuances are so important. I do the idea of becoming the scoreboard. People want to know how much time is left. Tell them how much time is left, especially on a hot day. I probably get asked 10 times more how much time is left in the half on a hot day, especially in the summertime, than you would on a cool day, because people are exhausted and worn out, especially in Sunday league. These guys are not training 4 or 5 days a week. They are pushing their bodies to the limit. If they ask you how much time is left, tell them how much time is left. 5 minutes, 4 minutes. And don't just say it to them. If someone asks you standing next to you and they say, how much time, ref? How much time, sir? I'll say 4 minutes, and I'll raise my hand. I'll say, all right, hey guys, 4 minutes to half, 4 minutes to half. People love that. Oh, okay. One more thing. This one's so good. Hearing everything because you're into the game is good. Responding to everything you hear is really bad. and just will distract you from your job. I think that's so important. So important. Now, listen, I think it's important at a grassroots level that we are aware of what's being said to us or about us on the pitch, but we don't need to respond to every comment that's said. Again, there are a lot of things that are just what I call outbursts of emotion that happen on the pitch by players and by parents, spectators, or coaches. It happens. If it's isolated, just let it go. Unless it's outrageously profane, it's a personal attack or something like that, just let it go. Just let it go, okay? People are going to complain and moan about calls here and there. Just let it go. Just let it roll off your back, okay? Trying to respond to everything is a recipe for disaster. Disaster, okay? A couple more things right here, and they're just going to wrap this up and move to Mark Klatenberg's book. I love this line. All diffusion starts with a basic idea. First, avoid making things worse. What that means is when someone's coming to you, don't reply back because I said it was, right? Your job is to de-escalate, to defuse the situation, to calm things down, not to pour fuel on the fire. Once you've made a call, over-explaining a call that no one likes or people don't agree with only is going to escalate and inflame the situation. You're not there to argue. You're there to be a judge. You've made a call. That's it. Call's been made. Hey, that's what I saw. Okay, get in position. That's it. I'm not having an argument about it. Trying to over-explain it and prove that you're right is not going to help anyone. Oh my gosh, there are a couple more things. I keep scrolling down and I see more that are so amazing here. I love this one. Sometimes your best call will be a simple warning. That is helpful. Man, I tell you, there's so many times in a match where I see someone doing something early on and I'll just walk up to them and say, hey, that little elbow to the back that you're doing as the ball's going on the mat, okay, that's going to be a foul for me. And people get that. Hey, that pull that I saw over there, don't do it again. I'm going to call it next time. But hey, that push in the back, yeah, it wasn't a lot there. Next time, that's going to be a penalty. People get that. And all of a sudden, you have a much better match. Much better match. That is fantastic. I love this. I'm just going to end right here. It says, at the end of the day, you're dealing and communicating with people. It is always simplicity that makes great social refs, never complexity. Love that. So highly recommend you pick this book up. I did it on the Kindle. It was a very easy read. And yes, he talks about other sports and softball and things like that, but I think a lot of the lessons apply. So pick up The Social Ref. All right, Mark Klatenberg's book, and then we'll get to the mailbag. I think it's very interesting. Klats has been out of the Premier League now for about 6 years or so. He's a very popular figure and has been doing the referee commentary in Europe for the Euros broadcast on Fox. And I think his book is interesting. I'm just going to tell you, I think 50% of his book, just straight up, is him complaining about the PGMOL, other referees, the disrespect that he had as a referee. I'm serious. Mark is a little bit bitter, just in general. But he grew up in Newcastle. He's a street guy. He's not polished and reserved as you see more of the modern referees. He is of that Pierluigi Collina ref, where there was more of a give back to the things that they would take on the pitch. So I just want to say, if you pick up his book, just be ready for that. You may want to fast forward through it. It grated on my nerves a little. I just got to tell you. But we'll say generally very interesting. The microscope that professional referees are under, especially in England, is excruciating. Even when you genuinely think you've made the right decision, it can still mean that you're risking your entire career. In the days before VAR, broadcasters still edited videos to break down key match decisions. And man, a referee on the pitch, they're getting a split second on the field to make a decision, to have to deal with the scrutiny from 20 different cameras and slow motion and can't do anything about it. They can't provide any context to their decision as a referee or why they made a decision. Just got to make it. And then they're judged and sentenced by commentators and the public without any ability to advocate on their behalf. That's the reality of a professional referee. It is a rough place to be. And it would be one thing if refs were only getting feedback from pundits, but what often results for a professional referee are death threats. They get death threats delivered by mail directly to their homes. These people love the game and they genuinely strive to provide fairness and equal application of the law, but they are constantly seen as villains and biased. Look at Anthony Taylor and Michael Oliver, who were just given 2 quarterfinal centers at the Euros. They are the best of the best in the world. But if you bring up Anthony Taylor's name in England, all you're going to hear is vitriol and anger, and he's biased and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's phenomenal. My gosh. A couple things about Mark. Again, I mentioned he's from that Pierluigi Collina version of referees. They were opinionated. They were strong personalities. They were not afraid to give it back as much as they took it. If someone used insulting and offensive language to them, they'd come right back out of it at them. They wouldn't use offensive language back, but it might be a quick word or like a quick little finely disguised insult to put them back in their place. This is before the day when communications were recorded. Nowadays, you certainly couldn't get away with that, and I don't think that would be encouraged at all. But there were numerous times in the book where Mark was given some extremely offensive language towards him, and he made a quip back, a little joke back, and then the players would wind up reporting him to the PGMOL, and he'd be sanctioned for it. So refs are just always held to a higher standard, that's for sure. Definitely a thing. Players want to be able to say whatever they want to the referee, but they never want to hear anything back from the referee. It is definitely a double standard, no doubt, about being a referee. It took him 25 years for Mark to go from a linesman in the Northern League to be a center of a Champions League. I think the grind of a professional referee is really lost on most people. They don't understand the amount of time, energy, effort, sacrifice, discipline that it takes to be a center referee at the highest level, or an assistant referee at the highest level. There's more opportunities for assistants than there is for centers, and they don't nearly get the kind of scrutiny with people calling for their head after every single match that center referees get. Just listening to the struggles, to the challenges, to the abuse that they receive, the infighting within the PGMOL, and the posturing and the politics that goes into getting to the top, man, it is a rough life. I really do feel for these people. And to say that their livelihoods are on the line every single match, it is absolutely true. And we've seen it even in the modern age in the last couple of years, that you could have a referee have a key match decision that was incorrect or something, or judged after the fact to be incorrect, even if they thought it was correct on the day, completely lose their job. And again, usually these days there'll be suspensions and they'll lose 5 or 6 matches, which is massive income for these referees. They're not multimillionaires. It happens where they get demoted and then they lose their job. And it's not like they can go someplace else and find another job being a professional referee if you only speak English. There are only a couple places in the world you can go. And you're not going to be able to start over in some other association. If you're in England, are you really going to make the move to the MLS and leave your entire family and work your way up from grassroots? It's not going to happen. So it's just an outrageous amount of pressure. And I have a lot of respect for anyone who makes it to the top of the top. I do encourage you to pick up Mark's book as well. I will say it is definitely interesting to see that progression. But I'm just going to warn you, he is a little bit bitter. All right, we're going to head over to the mailbag right now. I got 2 letters. Again, I try and mix up the positive and maybe not so positive to try and stay a little bit on the up and up here and not bring everyone down. But the second one, which is a little bit more negative, actually has what I would call a happy ending. All right, so first one here, and this is from Brian Fly. He writes, been following you for a while, and I wanted to reach out and just say thank you. I played at a high level in college, and my U13 son plays now. Over the years, the rules of the game have changed so much. You do a great job of articulating every little detail. I especially enjoy when it's a referee's discretion call. On top of that, you help humanize refs so much, and I see every match and how hard it can be to be a ref. You have helped me stay calmer at matches and teach others the rules and why a ref's call was correct in hard situations. And he says thank you. So again, I tell you, that is something that when Jacob and I went to the Copa America matches, I heard so many times from parents saying, because I watch you and I see your videos and I know a ref now, I'm able to stay calmer and I can help other parents out at the field stay calm to help explaining decisions. And I think, again, that's the whole point of this channel, was to humanize referees. We need love to, without a doubt. Even if you don't agree with the call, you could at least appreciate what considerations might have gone into making the call or what they may or may not have seen or something of nature. All right, last letter for today. Now, this one is anonymous, and I'm going to keep names out of it and clubs out of it. because there was a discipline in this match. Now, I tell you, I would like to name and shame, but I respect our letter writer's discretion here, and I totally understand why. So let's go ahead and dive into this one. It starts, quote, "This match was between two U17 boys teams in a youth league. The match took place a couple weeks ago, and for this match, this writer was the AR1. He writes, at approximately 60 minutes, both teams were in blank teams attacking third. Some of the players were inside the penalty area and some were out. I was in line with the second to last defender and watching the attacking team play for any potential offside offense, as you should do as the assistant referee. At this time, the center referee blew the whistle for a foul committed by the defending team in the middle of the field. The center referee walked over and asked what I saw. I informed him I didn't see anything because I was watching for offside. The center referee said he definitely has a foul, but wasn't sure if it was inside or outside the penalty area. I told him, in my opinion, if we aren't 100% sure on position, we should err on the side of caution and award a direct free kick just outside of the penalty area. The center referee awarded direct free kick just outside the penalty area, and the head coach for the team that was fouled, say blank team here, became very upset. He engaged in public, persistent, and personal dissent. He told me specifically that I don't know the laws of the game. He repeatedly dissented with the center referee's decision. And the AR1 here is saying I gave him approximately 4 verbal warnings that his behavior was unacceptable and he was engaged in dissent. The head coach for the team who was fouled continued to dissent despite my verbal warnings. At the 60-minute mark prior to the direct free kick being taken, I waved for the center referee to come over to my location. I informed him of the dissent and the actions I had taken and recommended a yellow card for the head coach. The center referee issued the yellow card. While the center referee was issuing the yellow card, the coach continued to dissent and started telling the center referee that I was, quote, slow, lazy, and out of position, unquote. This was false, as I had been with the second to last defender the entire game. According to my Garmin watch, I covered a total of 4 miles as AR1. The direct free kick was taken, the defending team gained possession and played a long ball towards the attacking third, and I ran back towards the halfway line. While I was at the halfway line, the head coach for the team who had previously been fouled continued to dissent. He was telling me that I was slow, lazy, and didn't know the laws of the game, and that I was mad at his team. I told him that he was engaged in dissent, he had already received a yellow card, and that his behavior was unacceptable. He replied he didn't care if he received a red card because he had an assistant coach. A couple minutes later, the ball was back in the attacking third for this team. A shot was taken on the goal. The goalkeeper had possession with their hand on top of the ball. The ball's on the ground. The goalkeeper has their hand on the ball. An attacker for that attacking team kicked it out of the keeper's hand and scored a goal. The assistant referee raised their flag, called the center referee over to him, and told him that the goal was no good. The goalkeeper had possession. At this time, the head coach for that attacking team became agitated and became engaged again in public, persistent, and personal dissent. I raised my flag again, called the center referee over, and recommended a second yellow card for dissent for the head coach. The center referee issued a second yellow card and a red card for the coach. At the 62nd minute mark, after the center referee issued the red card, the head coach started walking towards me, and I was standing next to this, the AR talking. I was standing next to the touchline and positioned in between the 18 and the goal area when I saw the coach walking towards me. I told him, don't walk over here. You've been dismissed and you need to leave the field. He replied, I can walk over to you if you want. What are you going to do about it? Unquote. I stood there and the coach walked up and got in my face. He was less than 1 foot away from me and continued to say, quote, what are you going to do about it? Unquote. I stood there with my hands by my side and didn't say a word. The coach was so close to my face that I had to lean to the side to see the center referee who was in the technical area talking to the assistant coach. Play had not started yet. When I got the center referee's attention, he ran over and got in between the head coach and I. The center referee then escorted the head coach around the corner flag and instructed him to leave. A few minutes later, we had a water break. At this time, AR2 informed us the head coach had not left and was instead in the stands. The center referee walked over and informed him he had to leave the field. The head coach complied. After the game, I was walking across the field. A few of the players for the team whose coach was dismissed were making comments about the referees and me in particular. They were saying them in generalities, but they were looking at me when they made the comments. They said things like, quote, "I can't believe these fucking refs actually get paid," and, unquote, and, quote, "these fucking refs suck," unquote. I did not get any player numbers, and I did not address it with the players or coach. At this point, tensions were high, and I felt like if I had addressed it, it would only make the situation worse. So I just want to let you know, he emailed me some comments before he sent this. He's okay. I will say that. We talked about who he should be reporting to because he had sent it to his assigner. And I said to him, I was like, hey, beyond sending it to your assigner, you need to send this to the state. Okay. I do not trust assigners to take any action when I send a red card report for something like this to dissent. It just honestly, they don't have incentive to do it. And yes, they're protecting their refs. Come on, man. Really? What incentive is for them to fill out a report on your behalf? I think that when you have a situation like this is not just an outburst of emotion that might have went one little bit too far. We've got a coach who is like threatening. When you get into someone's personal space and in their face, what are you going to do about it? Like, you kidding? I'm amazed that this referee was able to keep his cool. He's actually former military. So I think he's actually got a type of self-discipline that very few people in this world do to not react to that situation, either to break down or to hit out. Unbelievable emotional control right there. Unbelievable to be able to have that kind of maturity and emotional fortitude to deal with that kind of intimidation and aggression, right? With all the players and the parents around and all that kind of stuff, all the spectators. Unbelievable that this referee was able to keep his cool. But let me tell you, that is outrageous behavior by a coach. Okay, outrageous and unacceptable. So I encouraged him to not only fill out a report with the state, but also to fill out a safe sport report. And this guy shouldn't be around kids, in my opinion, if that's the way you're going to act. Honestly, it's a horrible example for the kids at this club. So he did wind up sending a letter to his state association with that full report. And he's going to, this is the response. So he says, "Good afternoon. I wanted to let you know that my abuse complaint has been adjudicated," which happened really fast, by the way. It only took a couple days. "I submitted it to the state and the assigner, and I have to say they were quicker than I anticipated. They got statements from all the refs and the coaches from both teams. The operations manager from the league even called me to discuss. In the end, the coach was banned for 3 matches and fined $150. I am satisfied with this. I wasn't looking to hammer anyone, but more put his name out there for the league and hopefully to correct this behavior. I feel satisfied that all parties, even the head coach, corroborated my story and that the state and the league were swift with investigation and adjudication. I will also add that after the match, the players from the other team approached me and told me thank you and that I did a good job. I honestly don't think it was because they won, but because they saw what happened, felt bad for me, and agreed I handled it like a professional." And he writes, "Thank you for the help and the kind words." I will tell you, I have a lot of questions about the center referee on this match and not proactively dealing with the dissent that was to his assistant referee. Centers, that's our crew. Those are our teammates. If one of us is getting dissent thrown our way, all of us are getting dissent thrown our way, and we've got to deal with it. Centers, if you see someone dissenting towards your assistant referee, take action. Don't wait and put it on the AR to tell you when a card needs to be shown. That's a problem. At the end of the match, those comments about dropping F-bombs about the referees, red card. Absolutely. No question in my mind. Foul and abusive language directed towards the officials, red cards. Let them deal with it. I guarantee you write that in the report and they talk about some of the words that they were saying towards those referees. Are you insane? Absolutely. These fucking refs suck. I can't believe these fucking refs actually get paid. That is red card. That is foul and abusive language. Show it, write it in the report. Guaranteed they are being suspended multiple matches and that is not being overturned. It is ridiculous, especially on a youth match, man. We're talking about 16-year-old kids, U17. Are you kidding me? That is awful, and those kids need to learn. So proud of that referee, so proud of him for writing the report, and I just want to encourage everyone out there, Don't accept that behavior. Now, I'm not saying you punch someone in the face. I'm not encouraging that. Use your words, the written word. Write your reports. Document this behavior. Okay? What you permit is what you accept, and I will not permit it. It will not happen on my match, and I'm going to pay it forward by documenting that behavior so that we can demonstrate patterns of behavior. So this time it was 3 matches and $150. Maybe next time that guy gets banned for an entire season and has to go find another career. But if we don't report it to the state, okay, not just the state referee administrator and the state, whoever your president of your state is, should be CC'd on that email, and the discipline coordinator for the state, okay, it will just continue to go on. We must be the change we wish to create. We cannot permit and accept that type of behavior. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Being a ref is definitely not always easy, but it's part of what makes it so rewarding. If you like today's pod or any of my pods, please share it with your soccer-loving friends. It doesn't just need to be refs. Everyone who loves the beautiful game needs to appreciate and see it through our eyes as well. Okay, it'll create a better culture around the sport for everyone. Lastly, please support the channel by picking up some merch at refsneedlove2.com. Every dime that comes in literally gets plowed right back into this channel. I want to do more. I want to go further, but it can only happen with your support. I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay strong, and may your next match be red card free.